We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Hello and welcome to I Be Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other host, Michelle Harvey. I'm Mason's mom, and I speak in the role of a caregiver on this podcast. And just to catch you guys up, because today is going to be a pretty quick episode, we're going to follow up to our previous one where we talked about biosimilars.
Yes.
But today we want to talk about interchangeable biosimilars. So we're going to go more into depth on that. So it's just kind of a
More
continuation.
fun.
I know. We're so exciting.
It's a continuation.
And so I think it's the first day of fall.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely, this was like my idea.
Fall weather is definitely kicking in, thankfully.
And yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, we certainly,
Disney.
Mason's got Disney on.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, you're fine.
Yay.
I've got some kind of like plaid that I thought was like very fallish. I have no idea. And
I would wear that.
Yeah. That's
if it's plaid, it's fancy.
Yeah. We tried,
That's
guys.
the rule.
But yeah, I mean, it's a Sunday afternoon. Mason's catching up on schoolwork, and I am been putting rhinestones on heels for the past couple of days.
You're gonna end up doing that for the next few weeks, probably.
My gosh, you guys. Yeah, I don't know.
It's so painful. I don't know how she does it, but
I don't know how I do it either. I don't even know what I'm doing. I got this idea. I was overly confident that, oh, I could do this and it shouldn't take too long. And I knew after like the first 5 of those.
Yeah, I'm sitting there watching her. She has to put down the glue and she goes, stick.
Yeah.
Stick. I don't know how she does.
I knew I had to be committed because once I started,
you can't undo it.
I can't. But we have some upcoming events. We have the Legacy Foundation dinner, and that's in less than a week. And we have the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation Gala, which is in October. And these shoes are like a white satin that just gets dirty. So I'm like, I'm going to cover them.
Brand new.
I did. They were brand new, and I had never worn them, and I have now tried to bedazzle.
Imagine just being a pair of shoes and, oh yeah, someone bought me. Oh no, they're trying to bedazzle me immediately.
I don't know. So we're gonna see how it goes. And
unlucky.
One of the reasons why I think so Mason, we thought, we don't know, he might be starting to flare. And so one of the ways that I guess I handle things is to find projects to keep my mind busy. So it's not like I already have work. We have school, but I have these gaps to fill. And so I think my way of coping is finding a project, and I certainly did that. So yeah.
You're going to be busy for a long time.
I am. And
take a few more days.
Hopefully, yeah. But it's worked to keep me busy and keep me occupied. We had to cancel a vacation as well. So that was also tough. We had planned to go to the national parks, which we did a whole episode on the National Park Pass. And
I guess it's not happening
right now. And we'd really hope we'd be able to do it. And
there's always next year.
Yeah. Hopefully sooner.
Hopefully, maybe.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that is not going to be happening. But the good news is you have the park pass.
And it just doesn't expire.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
So
we could go to a close. I don't think there's a national park close to where we live, but
yeah,
so a few hour drive or so.
And with Mason, when he starts to think, starts going to a flare, he lets us know right away with his symptoms, and we notify the doctors. So everyone's
aware.
Yeah, everyone's been notified. Mason is aware to keep track of everything. So after we basically let his doctors know, Mason keeps an eye on it. We keep an eye on it, and so we'll see. So far, very light symptoms, but we're always like on high alert because with this disease it can change very quickly.
Yeah, a roller coaster going up, and then you just have the free fall.
So hopefully
it
goes in for an infusion in 2 days, which he's not thrilled about, but that may help.
Yeah,
So
it's
that
a
might
lot.
help.
The reason I that excited about it last time, the infusion was very good. It was a very good infusion. But the time
Mm.
before that, I think they hit a nerve.
Oh yeah, I think
So
we'd mentioned that. Yeah, he thought well, they did hit something,
mm,
and so this time the nurse was very
so that
careful
wasn't fun.
and went to a different spot.
But
So
hopefully it's nerve free this time.
yeah,
Hopefully they're not getting on my nerves.
right. So we told him don't get on his nerves,
Don't get on my nerves.
like
You'll be
literally.
fine.
So that's kind of what's going on in our
Our
land.
lives are
And
wonderful.
yeah, and and we also never mentioned, we just we have this backdrop.
Oh yeah, yeah. It just popped up in one episode, and we
I don't
never talked
think we
about it.
addressed it. It just
Exactly.
so this, I don't really know what's going on with it. It's not really
It's just kind of
centered.
there.
Um
It's not centered.
your
You
name
got a
doesn't
bunch
show
over
up.
there, and
My
then
name yeah,
yeah.
and then
See,
so
there's my name.
but that's what we use for our shows. If
Yeah.
we go anywhere, that's our banner. So yeah, so we have that going on too. So anyways, enough about what's going on. Just thought we want to catch you guys up, show you
Catch you up to
guys,
speed.
yeah, what's
Yeah.
going on in our lives, and with all the regular stuff, school, work, all of
All
that.
that fun,
Yep.
fun
And
stuff.
so today we wanted to discuss a continuation of biosimilars, but talk about interchangeable biosimilars. And this is going to be a little bit of an education for you too,
Mhm.
Mason. And I think for a lot of you listening, before we go into it, an interchangeable biosimilar sounds like it's an identical, right?
Mhm. It's interchangeable,
But
and I
you,
haven't learned about this much yet, actually. So
yeah,
I will learn from this.
but
I've
the
learned about
wording,
biosimilars.
right, which we did,
Yeah.
the wording though is key. So biosimilar has similar in the word, which
Hmm.
means it's similar,
Similar.
not the same.
Yeah.
Interchangeable is like a way that they can't say identical, but
It's close
interchangeable,
enough.
you can change. So yeah, so
Just
it's still tricky
finagle the
wording.
words a little bit.
But I think a lot of you out there, if you heard that, oh, you got an interchangeable biosimilar. Oh, good. Okay,
That sounds
that's
like
the
it's
same.
exactly the same.
Right. And so you might think you got a different one, and
No,
not so much. So important
that
to
did
listen
not
to this
happen.
to learn what it is. And, before we get started, something I wanted to add on to last week to finish up on the biosimilars and pediatric patients, because this was on the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation website. I have a note here, and it's our biosimilar safe for pediatric IBD patients. And so you would think, okay, if they are biosimilars,
They're the
they've been through the
same.
process. But you have to remember, most biologics are not approved for
The
use
FDA.
in
Yeah.
pediatric patients. So biosimilars,
Even the two I'm on
right,
are not certified.
right. And so important to note with this question, if you have any kids with this, teens, what does this mean for you? And so with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, what they say is that, which we've talked about before, pediatric patients are more severe. You
Mhm.
have a more severe disease presentation.
And you can't
And
use things like steroid. Yeah, you can't use a steroid. Uh, well,
well, you
you can
can.
use them, but they're not ideal because when someone's an adult, you can use it, and well, obviously
Mhm.
it's going to affect some other things. But for the time being, the steroid is going to
Right,
help. But when you're a kid, it also stunts growth,
right.
and you need to grow as much as you can when you're a kid. So
It
that's not
can
great.
affect your bones, bone
Mhm.
development. It's
So your brain might not be as strong. Possible.
your I think your adrenal glands, all sorts of things can be affected, and for kids. But what the Crohn's Colitis Foundation said is that pediatric patients generally have a more severe disease presentation and poor
Mhm.
prognosis. So they don't recommend necessarily the use of biosimilars in pediatric patients. And
Have you for Cancer
so
Class Foundation?
yeah. And so they say the use of biosimilars and multiple switches should only be considered in pediatric patients who are in remission. And they don't specify what level of remission, but I
Just
would think
remission in general. I think,
I
like,
think it'd
maybe
be
the
the
highest. Yeah.
highest level.
That way you have a lot of ballroom.
Right, right. And so it says, if you receive, and this is just important for you guys listening, if you receive a notification from your insurance company about switching your child's current medication to a biosimilar, you should contact your child's healthcare team to discuss it further. So it's not to say that it can't happen, but their stance on it is that it shouldn't be considered any kids who are, not in remission, who are struggling,
Hmm.
so things like that. So it's just interesting because pediatric IBD patients don't have as much research. They just don't have as much, and it's not been studied with them like it has in the adult population. So anyways, So we discussed how biosimilars are not exact replicas or identical matches to the original biologic last week. And
Mhm.
in catch up on that if you have more questions about that. We're not going to go into that on this one because we did that whole episode. So catch up on our that previous episode from last week or 2 weeks ago, I should say, and catch up on that. And if you have any questions about biosimilars, it should answer them and help you understand them better. But there's another term that comes up, which is interchangeable biosimilars. And so what we're and I'm gonna put up the links where we found this information too, so you can look it
Description.
up. Yeah. There's multiple sites you can find this information on, but I'll provide our sources for you guys so you can see. So an interchangeable biosimilar is a biosimilar that meets additional requirements outlined by the law that allows for the FDA to approve biosimilar and interchangeable biosimilar medications. Okay, so that's the first part. So
Mhm.
basically, FDA has approved both biosimilars and interchangeable biosimilars.
Makes
But
sense.
a interchangeable biosimilar may be substituted for the original product. So, like, say you're on Remicade and you get an interchangeable biosimilar. So your prescriber can substitute.
As I was gonna say, insurance can use that as an
Yeah.
excuse.
So you don't have to get permission from your doctor to switch
Mhm.
because it has been labeled
So
interchangeable.
that means it's
So
like the same thing.
that's what according to a prescriber. So,
Yeah.
it's kinda like how you would get a generic prescription substituted for a brand name prescription if you have one, and they don't have to go to your doctor and say, "Oh, can we give them this instead?" No, the prescriber, because they're allowed to, this is approved, they can switch it. It's commonly called, they said, pharmacy level substitution, and they are subject to state pharmacy laws. So, an interchangeable biosimilar, um it hasn't gone through it just means it's gone through a few additional tests, a few more. From what I read, it doesn't mean that it is more of the same, like more close to it than a biosimilar. So it's not always the case. So interchangeable just means they've gone a few steps further in the FDA regulations to get that
And then they can be
label.
called that, yeah.
Right.
So they might not be any more similar than another biosimilar, but
Exactly.
because they went through the extra tests, now they can be
They
called
get the
that.
interchangeable label, which
Seems
is
like a scam.
well, it's beneficial to them
Mhm.
because now they can get a prescriber to prescribe it. Because with the biosimilar, the doctor would have to be included in
Mhm.
this conversation. And so now if you get that extra, you go through that extra testing, it might be worth it because now the prescription is going to be could be
Use
interchanged. So
so would the provider or insurance, if they were thinking about switching someone from a real, not well, they're both real, but the true biologic to the interchangeable biosimilar, would they have to tell the patient that they're changing?
just you would receive it or they would notify you they're filling your prescription and you would receive
So
it.
you wouldn't
I
know that you're
I
getting something
believe.
different.
It's probably up to the prescriber
Hmm.
if they notify you, but I don't believe they have to. They if
Seems
so it's like when we've gone to like some of your stuff you've taken has been generic that were not biologics, and when we go to pick it up, they don't tell us, "Hey, we're gonna give you a generic." They just give it to you. You don't
'cause I feel like if there was something that was a little different about that, that didn't work for someone, I feel like that'd be very bad.
yeah. It's
That shouldn't they should be able to warn you if they're
Well,
doing that.
yeah. So that's why it's important to know interchangeable versus biosimilar. It's just important to know it's basically the same kind of product. You're not getting something that is a whole different formula
No.
that is more like identical because there's still a biosimilar. It's
Yes.
just interchangeable. It really just affects that prescription level. So what I did too, and I want to look these up so you guys know, and this is going to be a lot of fun because we have no idea how to pronounce these.
Oh, here we go.
So I mean, this is
If
yeah.
you like to watch people attempt to pronounce things, then this is the right
Right.
podcast for you.
And some of you are gonna be probably yelling at us going, "We know
It's
how to do
it's
it," because you
just
probably
pronounced
take
like
it.
this.
And yeah, and you know. And but what I want to do, there's something called the purple book search on the FDA's website, and we'll put this link in there. And what you can do is you can search by the name of your current biologic. So like we'll use the first one, which is ustekinumab, which is
Mm,
Stelara. And so you would type in Stelara, and it's going to show you the list of biosimilar names and the interchangeable biosimilar if
mhm.
it is available. And it's going to also show, so like what they're going to do, some of you I think it's just a name switch, right? You're going to say,
Yeah.
oh, I have ustekinumab dash AUUB. Oh, I
Mhm.
got ustekinumab dash TTWE. Okay, so you're thinking it's still Stelara, and it's
It's
not.
not.
So this is, so I mean,
That would
essentially
be copyright,
it's
kind
the
of.
biosimilar to it, but so like Weslana is the interchangeable biosimilar for Stelara. But that ends, they'll say it's ustekinumab dash AUUB. That's their name for it.
So it's
So,
Stelara, but it still
right.
has a scientific name.
And then there's two biosimilars, which is, I think it's Zykiva and
Sakai
Solarsdi.
Yeah, I think that's how you would
Not
say
sure.
them.
But
Sakai
again, you can search these out on your own, you guys. And those end in different, also have the different like dash AEKN and dash TTWE. And so that'll be at the end of ustekinumab to show you that it's not ustekinumab, it's a different
and it's the
version
off
and it's the
brand.
biosimilar. And so then I also looked up, Entyvio, which is vedolizumab, and they do not have a biosimilar yet.
Tip
And
view is safe.
yeah, and I think that's because the patent, that's one of the newer ones. So
Mhm.
that's a more
Please keep
recent
it
one.
safe.
And well, biosimilars are not always, I mean, it's
No,
okay.
they're not always bad.
Right. No, it's, I mean, with the prices, the way prices are, I don't see that there's really any other way to go
I find
because,
with biosimilars, but I feel like it's the interchangeable ones I don't like because knowing that the provider can just change something up.
but I mean, but it's still the same as a biosimilar, in which in some cases they are effective, but in
Mhm.
some cases they're not. But
What
that,
if it doesn't affect someone right?
what I don't like with interchangeables, it should be a discussion between you and your
So
doctor.
you can know what's going on.
And
You're
so
not blind.
maybe they do notify the doctor. I'm not
Yeah,
100%
because
sure.
yeah,
But as far as I know, the prescriber can take it upon themselves to switch it. I also did a search on Remicade, which is
one of the first
infliximab.
ones, so that should
Yeah.
have a lot.
And that one has biosimilars of Avzola and Flectra. Uh,
Looks if it.
yeah, and Renflexis.
Reflect
So
this.
some of
Okay.
you might be on some of those. And I didn't see which ones were interchangeable for that one. I think you just know the biosimilars, but you can also search it. You'll notice too, like they're going to all have the same thing, like infliximab AXXQ, infliximab DYYB.
Infleximab dash QBTX.
Right. And these are all going to be for the biosimilars.
Mhm.
And so you might see, you might think, oh, I'm on infliximab. But if you have a little dash after that, you may be on the biosimilar version.
Mhm.
So just that's, an
Just make
FYI
sure
for you
about that.
guys. And for Humira, adalimumab, I think that's how it's pronounced.
I don't
I
know.
know
Yeah.
Humira very well, but
I don't know how to say the name.
they have a biosimilar, several, which is
Oh wow.
Julio, Idacio, Euflima, Usimri. And
That's a
they
lot of
have a
interesting
lot of
names.
interchangeables for Humira.
Oh wow, even
So
more. That yeah. The list goes
Abrevada,
on for Humira.
Amjavita, Siltizo, Halima, Harimos, and Simlandi.
So, yeah.
And so those are all interchangeable ones. And
So I
again,
feel like Humira has the most, unless there's
Humira's
others we don't know about for the other
right.
ones.
I
But
just did a quick search for you guys because I was like, oh, this is a cool tool. So if you want to see what you're on and you're curious, you thought you've been taking something, but it had that little dash after
looks like you're
the
not taking what you
sciencey name,
think.
you might realize you're taking an interchangeable or a biosimilar. And I mean, more than likely you'll know, but it's just good to know.
Hmm.
So, and I don't want anyone to panic either
No,
because I feel like if you're like, oh my gosh,
no,
it's
this is
like,
dangerous now.
it's still the biosimilars are all FDA approved, but I just think it's extremely important to have conversations with your doctor
To make
and
sure
make
you know.
sure, yeah,
Yeah,
like you're aware of what's going on and you know your options. And so I just think that is really, really important. And so I'm going to put that link up for you guys so you can do your own searches and you can see which one has interchangeables, which one has biosimilars, and or like with Entyvio, which one does not.
it's not. Yeah,
So yeah, not yet. And there's a lot of new ones coming out. They're not going to have biosimilars because
'70
they're
or
still patented.
20 year.
Yeah.
Let's think of music.
Yeah. So that's basically it. Like I said, it was just kind of a short follow-up to our previous
Episode.
episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if you guys want to like comment, let us know about your situation with biosimilars. If you learned anything, that'd be cool. So
Mhm.
just say hi. Hope you guys are all doing well. Maybe some of you are going on a really cool vacation.
Oh yeah, some more. Yeah. So yeah.
Let us.
have fun. I guess are you going to any national parks? And if so, did you get your pass?
Yeah, did you do that? Did it work out for you
Mhm.
guys? And, we hopefully it's, things change. And I think that's one of the most important lessons with this disease is that, I mean,
You
we
feel on
knew,
top of the world one day, and then,
yeah,
well, there we go the next day.
and we knew, like we talked when we planned the vacation.
Mhm. If something
If
happens, we can
something
cancel
happens,
it.
we can cancel it. And
No
I had to
pressure.
call back all the hotels. Well, not call. I was able to use, email
Mhm.
and cancel, but I canceled each one. Only Yellowstone would not refund the. So we lost one night, but no, out of all things considered, we didn't lose a lot, thankfully. But I guess that's we should do travel tips with this disease. That would
Yeah,
be good. Like
we should.
take a lesson from us and make sure when you reserve a hotel room, you have the option to cancel.
Yeah, cancel it
Yeah,
and
because we
get your money
only had
back.
one that couldn't be canceled, and all the rest were, and it was very simple process, and it was a
Why don't
relief.
you do that? No.
Yeah, it was kind of a. I didn't have a lot of options in West Yellowstone. It was very difficult.
And the one other choice was very expensive. Well, you can stay at the Grand Canyon in the National
Yeah, we were
Park
not
Hotel.
going to,
No,
but
we
you
weren't.
can.
But you
Yeah,
can stay there, and it's not as bad. But you go to Yellowstone, you stay in that hotel room at in the actual national park at Yellowstone, and
yeah.
it's like 5 times more expensive.
Well, with an older one, like their very famous
Yeah,
one.
the very
Yeah,
famous one.
yeah.
And
Some
I
of
mean,
them
you get a
reasonable.
view of Old Faithful, so
Yeah.
it's worth it, I guess,
Yeah,
for like
but that
a
one we
night.
were not gonna be staying at. We were not gonna be even staying in Yellowstone.
Mm.
It was
You're
it
just gonna drive through it.
yeah, we were gonna be staying right outside of it. And but anyways,
It would have been fun.
yeah, so
It would
travel
have.
tip, make sure even if it costs you a little bit more, get the room that
Mm.
you're able
So
to
you can
cancel
cancel it. So
because
that way you can get your
things
money
like this
back.
happen and it's already like devastating enough to have to cancel a trip. Like you don't want to be like, "Oh my gosh, and I'm out thousands of dollars." And that's really sad. So yeah,
Whoops.
yeah. So anyways, that's what's going on over here. And but we're gonna have taking a 2-day getaway. We'll let you guys know after we do that.
Almost a 2-week getaway to a 2-day getaway. Yeah,
Yes,
fair.
yes, yes. But it's much more doable. And
Yes.
then if you are, I hope you're gonna be doing okay, but just in
I
case, anything
It already
happens.
feels like it's kind of getting better, so
Yeah.
but you never know.
Yeah.
You never
So
know
we're
what
just
will
gonna
happen.
be safe and yeah. So anyways, you guys can follow along though. Gonna be we have a lot of cool coming events and a
Yes.
lot of neat things. We are gonna be doing something. We're gonna be doing another Club 33 visit.
Mhm.
So give us a
Coming up.
follow on Team IP Determined on Instagram and you guys can see all of that. And also the Reggie Project,
Mhm.
which we'd love to see some of you guys participate. Take a picture with Reggie. We have a downloadable version of him that you can print out and take with you to your appointments. We would love to see
Wouldn't it
that.
be cool to take a picture of Reggie at Club 33? I don't know if that'd be possible, but
Oh, you could. Yeah, you probably could.
him on the harpsichord,
Yeah, we
if you
should
know what
probably
that
do
is.
that. Yeah, I know they have the harpsichord there. We should do that.
That
That's a
would
good
be cool.
idea. Yeah, and so it would just be cool to see some of your stories, I guess, and be able to share that on that site. So
Mhm.
yeah, the Reggie Project is on Instagram as well, and keep on listening to us on the stations you can find us on, like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts.
And there's more linked, to Buzzsprout, which will be in the description with all
Yep.
the others. And then YouTube also has YouTube podcasts now, which is cool. I think that's still getting old, but it's pretty new still, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And then there's normal YouTube videos. So if you want to watch us as well as hear us, you can go to YouTube videos.
Right.
And if you already are, just make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, make sure to hit that bell icon.
Yep.
Because subscribing does not notify you every time, and the bell icon does.
Yeah, I know it was kind of quick, but
Mhm.
I had wanted to add on to last week's episode, and
There wasn't enough
yeah,
time
I
last
wanted to
time.
stay focused, and then I kind of want to get into this own discussion and also show you the reference where you could search these on the FDA's website and you could check it out yourself. So I thought it was important to follow up, and I know it's quick, but hopefully it's still helpful, and we'll have hopefully a upcoming fun episode,
Mhm.
something a little different off the topic of
About
medications.
galas or
Yeah.
3 or
Yeah, we'll be able to
drops or
talk about we'll have gone to the Legacy
mhm,
Foundation
legacy,
event.
yeah.
Yeah, so next time hopefully we'll have some exciting stories. And hope you guys have a good week. work day, whatever it is.
School day.
Yep, school,
College.
all that. But thank you
Yes.
guys as always for listening, and we do this for you
We
guys.
appreciate your support, and we read every comment.
So keep the
please,
comments coming.
yes.
Say hello. We'd love to hear from you guys. And until 2
We'll
weeks,
see you in the next
we'll see you in
2
the
weeks.
next 2 weeks.
We'll see you in the next 2 weeks in a new episode.
Yep. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to play something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.